Well, greeting everyone. I am going to give you guys another tutorial on some other aspects of Zoom that will help you host a great Zoom meeting. The first thing I want to talk about is the waiting room. In the settings on the actual web page settings of Zoom, you have the option of setting up a waiting room for your meeting. And this is great for if you are hosting a meeting and maybe you want to meet with your leaders beforehand and maybe you're not ready for those early arrivals to your meeting. And so you can set this waiting room and it will just keep them in a waiting room with kind of a little description of your choice. Maybe it will say, hey, welcome to the waiting room. We're going to start at such and such time, and so you can just wait here and we'll let you in when the host is ready. And so that's really great for me working with middle schoolers because maybe I want to talk and pray with my leaders, and I don't want a bunch of middle schoolers flooding into the meeting until we're all ready and have tested everything and they're all set and ready. And so you can message people by clicking up here. This is kind of those who are in the waiting room. You can message them and say, hey, it will be 5 more minutes. Um, One of the things that I like to message people is if their name is not their real name, if it sometimes it logs in and it just says iPhone or something, I say, hey, can you make your name your real name and also your group leader's name? And so this is one way like I organize my small groups for when we do breakout groups is I tell the middle schoolers to say your real name and what grade you're in. That way it'll help us a little bit later when we're organizing groups. And so once you're ready for those in the waiting room to come in, you just click this admit button. If there were multiple people in the waiting room, there would actually be an option above the waiting room that just says admit all, so you wouldn't have to go through and click each person. But once they're in the meeting, you can actually, if you needed to rename them like we were talking about, you can just click the little dot next to their name, click rename, and you can edit their name if they're not sure how to do that. You could say maybe like Jordy's table. And that's just going to help you when you're organizing breakout groups. And so let's talk about breakout groups for a second here. I'm going to remove the chat here and remove the manage participants here. And so you'll see down here at the bottom right here where it says breakout groups, that is a feature of Zoom Pro, so it's something you'd have to have a paid subscription to have. And so breakout groups just gives you the opportunity to break the larger main session group into as many small groups as you want. And so when you click breakout groups, it's going to give you the option to create as many rooms that you want to, uh, and it'll give you the option to assign people to those rooms. You can also rename those rooms. So let's say this one is going to be Jordy's table, and this one's going to be Selena's table. I'm just making up names right now. And you click assign, and then it brings up everybody who is in the group. You'll be able to see, okay, so Selena is supposed to be at Jordy's table. Click her, and then she is now in there. You can also, once people are in the room, if they're you put them in the wrong room, you can just click move to, and it will move them to the other room, depending upon where they're supposed to be. Um, and you can move people around, adjust it, put people where they're supposed to be. And one thing that's important is you want to make sure that someone who is a co-host, which I'll explain in a second, is one of your co-hosts are in the meetings because they'll have all of the same options down here, the ability to mute people, the ability to add people. They'll have all the same features that you do. So you want to make sure that at least one person in each of your tables is a co-host, as they'll be able to have the option to organize things. And so once your breakout groups are ready to go, all you simply do is click open all rooms. That's going to send a notification to every single person. As you just saw on my screen, as you just saw on my screen, there was um, two things that just disappeared. It's because they went to their breakout groups. And you, as the host, will remain in the main session room until you join whatever table you want to join. Any person who's added to the meeting, if a new person was to join right now, they would end up showing up in here. And right now, I'm gonna go to Jordy's table though. I'm gonna go to her small group, and go in there. So all you do is go to this join, click yes, and all of a sudden the wheels would spin a little bit, and there you are. Now you're in Jordy's group. You can say hi to everyone in there. You have all the same features that you have of the main session room, and then you can leave that breakout room and go back to the main session room, your meeting room, where it will just be you again. Maybe someone showed up and they're having a hard time with their features. You can come back in here. Um, Anytime that you need to adjust the breakout room, you can just go back into your options down here of breakout rooms and say, oh, if a new person showed up, it would say there would be an unassigned option, and you can add them into their group. Um, and then when you're all done with your groups, ending them is really easy. You just click close all rooms. And then what it's going to do is it's going to send a 60-second warning to everyone. They're going to look on their phone. Like you can see on my phone right now, it's connected. It's going to start counting down and saying, hey, your group's going to be done here in a second. Can you come back to the main room? Maybe finish up with a quick prayer, and they can click leave now and come back to the main room whenever they want. Um, and that's going to make it so that you know, you'll have this kind of waiting period as everyone's getting back to the main room. Maybe you want to finish out your group all together with prayer or with another song or some other element, and this will be able to bring them all back. So breakout rooms are an awesome opportunity to create really great, break people into smaller groups, have really great discussion, and then also have the big group feel in the main session room. And so uh, you can see now that Selena is now back in the main session room because our timer ran out. And so if you have any questions about how to run breakout groups, how to run any of the features down here of sharing screens or any further questions, let me know. I'd love to help. So God bless.